nerds, and welcome back to the podcast. It's your old pal, Larry Brantley. Well, here's the deal. Last week, I went on vacation, and that meant that we didn't record a new episode last week, and we try to stay a week ahead, which means that as you're listening to this, we did not have an episode in the can for this week, and we thought it was the end of the world. But our old pal and sound engineer, also known as Brent Williams, came up with a brilliant idea that no podcast has ever thought of in the history of podcasts, which is that he took the funnier bits from our first 5 episodes and cut them together to make kind of an episode. Innovative, pioneering, I should say. So, we're calling this one the first 5 best bits. You're going to hear the funnier sides of our first 5 episodes, conversations that always involve cigars and a liberal amount of whiskey. We're cracking ourselves up, and hopefully this little trip down memory lane, in which, quite frankly, the memories aren't that old, will entertain you as well. So here are the best bits from the first 5. Take it away, boys. And welcome, everyone, to the inaugural podcast known as Nerdherfers. Along with Mike Donahoe and Brent Williams, I am your host, Larry Brantley. Who are we? What are we doing here? And why in the hell is our show called Nerdherfers? We're going to get to that story in just a minute because I think Brent was the one. You came up with that, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Brent came up with that, so he gets to tell that story.
Everybody who's a Star Wars fan knows the phrase Nerf herder. And once you get into cigar smoking, you learn that a herf is a group of people that sit around and smoke a cigar and whatever. So it's both a noun and a verb. So anyway, I just thought it'd be funny to switch those up and turn Nerf herder into Nerdherfers. And then that gave me the idea of that would be a cool idea for a bunch of nerds to sit around smoking a cigar talking about stuff.
This is who we are, and this is why we're doing this. We are 3 middle-aged dudes who all of us, I think, would identify as nerds and or geeks. By the way, I should probably point out for our listening audience that we are currently sitting on Brent Williams' lovely patio out here on a cool but not cold February evening in North Texas. He's got his fire pit going, so we are all going to be coughing like miners with black lung at some point during the show, and that's going to be okay. Here are the things we have in common as middle-aged guys. We have a deep and abiding love for geekdom, fandom. We're going to talk about, movies on this show. We're going to talk, and keep in mind, we're all Gen Xers, right? We're all Gen Xers. Yep. Okay, just want to clarify that because I think Micah might be the youngest, and if I found out he was something other than a Gen Xer, I was like, well, I'm sorry, you can't be on the show.
I'll just let myself out.
Just jump yourself into the pool there and hold your breath until the bubbles stop.
It just became more fun to talk to him about these kinds of subjects as opposed to other people. So
I actually cared about what he said.
Yeah. I mean,
he felt validated. And
he did. He gave me eye contact occasionally. I mean, especially when he would look off in the distance, he would come back to me a little bit sooner than other people. It was
Who never came back at all.
And the minute I woke up, I would look him straight in the eye.
I mean, I literally have a buddy that when I'm about to tell a story, he looks at me, he's like, oh, God, let me get a beer.
Yeah.
So
or do a line of Coke, whatever it takes.
Whatever keeps you up.
So here's how the show is going to work every week. Every week, we're going to have some sort of fun, geeky, nerdy topic that will undoubtedly go off the rails on several times during the course of conversation. But while we're doing the show, we are also going to enjoy our 2 favorite things, which are cigars and whiskey. So each week, one of us will bring cigars for the guys. One of us will bring a bottle. We will talk about it, why we brought it, what we like about it, and then we'll all give our opinions on the cigars and the whiskey. And this is just something that we enjoy. And while we're enjoying those things as middle-aged men, we get to talk about the shit that we loved when we were kids. And if you're one of those people, if you're just getting into cigars or whiskey, or you don't have an interest in either, but you are kind of a geek and you want to talk about why, someone should have killed George Lucas with a shovel so he couldn't make the prequels, we're going to have that conversation too. And I'm going to hand one to Brent.
Thank you, sir.
I really shouldn't have had to made that sound. I didn't have to lean that far.
Have you ever watched Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law?
Yes.
When he realizes he's middle-aged, when he goes to bend over, and he makes a middle-aged grunt sound. He goes, he's like,
oh no.
Runs into the gym.
Guess what? Yeah, it's middle-aged. All right, so Brent is currently toasting his My Father the Judge Gran Robusto.
This thing is like a World War II fire team or something.
And you can poo-poo my lighter all you want.
I'm not
jackass.
poo-pooing your lighter. I'm just saying it's really loud. It's like, if I was going to go clear out a
Oh,
pillbox.
I'm sorry.
A
Is it
pillbox
bad for
in
sound?
WW2, I would bring the lighter with me.
I came across this bottle only this year because
In rehab?
yes.
Okay. I'm going to say that a lot, by the way. It's going to be like a go-to
Yeah, that joke's
joke.
never going to get old.
That's going to be better than what she said every time.
I found this great bottle of bourbon in rehab. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's where you find all the best bottles. The state of Texas in the 1980s, you had to be at least 18 to work in the comedy clubs. But I had this awesome pencil-thin porn stash. Yeah. I've got pictures.
I'm
I will
crushing
show
on
you
you already.
I will show you pictures. No, I've got a picture of me with feathered hair, porn stash, and I'm wearing a velour pullover.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
I
Give me a
was
towel.
I was the teenage. I was like Sean Cassidy's wet dream. Anyway,
he had your poster on his wall.
he did indeed. We had it like tacked to the ceiling so he could open his eyes. At
Sean
morning
had
and
your
see.
poster on his wall.
Anyway,
Also day
and,
drinking.
well, I'm a huge fan of day drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even like if you're not day drinking. What are you doing with your life? Is my question.
My
I
wife
guess.
traditionally plays that song too whenever we start drinking before 11 o'clock.
Is that right?
Oh, wait a minute, 11 o'clock. Now I'm judging you.
Yeah.
At least wait till noon. Come on.
No, hell no. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
Depends
when are you gonna fit
depends
in
what
your
time
nap?
you get up.
That is a fact.
You get up at the crack of noon, your day starts at noon.
I'm an early riser, which typically means I'm also an early drinker. Long pause.
We all have to take a huge hit.
And that's exactly what I did.
It's not a hit when you're smoking a cigar,
well,
fellas.
I'm definitely detecting the tobacco.
Your palate is so refined.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
How do you do it?
I mean,
Well, I'm here to impress people, and I don't like
you're
to,
like a sommelier of cigars.
That's right. I don't
It's
like to, really spread it around too much, but
this has definitely got tobacco in it, you guys. I don't care what anybody else says.
so Brent, I would really like to hear your thoughts on this. That'll further educate me.
I'm getting a hint of chocolate, which is, pretty typical with this.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I want to say, obviously a nutty flavor. That's pretty common.
Are you picking up the tobacco flavor?
I'm getting a little hint of the tobacco. It's like on the back of the palate. It kind of finishes with the
Are
tobacco
you getting
feel.
the tobacco at all? My God,
God, I
man.
thought you were good at this.
Is this your first cigar?
I'm trying to pick out. There's this flavor in this that you don't taste in most bourbons.
Before you go any further, did a bug fly into your drink? Because that might be a taste that you get that is not in most bourbons.
It did taste kind of like protein. I am noticing that there's a serious lack of peanut butter in this whiskey.
And just for our audience's purposes here, we need to clarify that there will be a serious lack of peanut butter in our brown
So
bourbon.
almost,
happy to hear that.
When I was picking up the makings for my espresso martinis tonight, they were selling little mini bottles of Scatterbrain,
Yeah.
and I almost bought you a bottle just so you would know what it tastes like.
Aw. See,
But then I thought
It tastes like if you've ever tasted peanut butter,
Yeah.
you know what it tastes like.
that's so considerate and unnecessary.
It's
Yeah.
actually more considerate that I didn't give it to you.
He's thoughtful in kind of a mean
Which
way, isn't
kind
he?
of proves that we like each other a little.
Yeah, exactly.
So, of course, I had everything Star Wars at the house. I had the sheets. I had, my bed was Star Wars. Had every toy. I
And you
saved it
still
for the
do?
house. Yeah, I still do, actually.
Much to his wife's chagrin.
Yes. Matter of fact, I'm wearing Star Wars underoos right now.
Are they from the 80s?
They are from the 80s.
Wow.
Excellent.
They're a little tight.
That's why you're talking so high pitched right now?
Yeah, and it may be just the waistband.
We're
Also,
pretty awesome.
when you're a geek and you're in middle school, you know how to use throwing stars. So people,
That is we don't talk about that nearly enough.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but where'd you buy them? Vicon Village, maybe?
No.
Asian World of Martial
Maybe.
Arts online,
Yeah,
not
mostly
online because
online.
it didn't exist.
Mostly-
Out of a catalog.
I was
There
going to
you
say,
go.
mostly out of a
Philadelphia,
catalog.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, mostly out of a catalog.
And my cousin Steve and I had contrived this magnificent plan. We're both 10 years old. And we told our parents that we wanted to go to the Greenspoint Mall Cinema to see Benji Comes Home. Now, if I'm being honest, we weren't really going to go see Benji Comes Home.
What?
I know.
Oh my
Shocking,
gosh.
But there you are. The movie that we planned to sneak into was a rated R movie called The Deep with Nick Nolte and Jacqueline Bisset. And the reason
Jacqueline.
that we were going to do that is because we had heard in school, a couple of our friends had snuck in to go see The Deep, and they said that there's a scene in the movie in which Jacqueline Bisset gets out of the water and she's wearing a flimsy white t-shirt and no bra and no bikini, and you can see her boobies. And at 10 years old, I don't know how you guys felt, but I was all about boobies at that point.
Oh, I'm thinking we're all feeling the same thing.
So we got we convinced our parents, which, by the way, I thought I had bad parents because they were dropping us off at a mall on a Saturday and we were 10. And by the way, Greenspoint Mall in 1977 was nicknamed Gunpoint Mall. It was not a good place to drop two 10-year-old boys. Nevertheless, they put cash in our pockets and change for the payphone. And
You and I have two different definitions of good parents and bad parents.
So in we go when we purchase our tickets to Benji Comes Home, and now we are ninjaing our way down the corridor. And Steve was ahead of me, and he was so excited. And I passed by this theater, and the doors were still open, and the movie was just starting. And I chanced a look to the left to see what was on the screen because it was rumbly and it was loud, and there was this wonderful music score. And I saw a great big triangular-shaped spaceship, and it was chasing a smaller spaceship. And without quite knowing that this had happened, I veered off. And I walked into the theater, and it was completely packed. And I walked all the way down to the front, and I sat in the one seat in the front row that was available. And that was my first experience watching Star Wars. And we watched it. Well, I watched it 3 more times that day. Steve watched it twice with me because he actually did go to see The Deep and freak out when he looked around and realized. And by the way, it took him a full 2 hours to realize I was not with him. So while you were getting the equipment set up, he said, "It's very possible, you guys, we're going to finish this bottle tonight." And I said, "Very possible? It is probable."
Well, I know next time I'm bringing a full bottle.
You weren't drinking that on the way over here?
Oh no, that's
I
what he was doing.
mean, no.
Question mark?
I mean,
Michael,
no.
hey guys!
We don't have a polygraph around here anymore, do we?
You never take me alive, copper.
No, officer. I was swerving because I was drinking.
And it's pronounced ossifer.
Yes.
I
Thank you. Plus, I was texting and putting on makeup. It was a whole thing. But a lot of guys don't like to smoke Lanceros because they're long and they're thin and they feel like they're effeminate. And to those guys, I say, you're missing out.
Oh, totally.
Because a Lancero in a particular blend might be the best thing you've ever smoked.
I feel that same way when I try out like Virginia Slims.
And I also have my Cruella de Vil holder that I like to use.
You know what? You just want a cooler smoke sometimes. Don't knock the longer smoke.
That's right. Especially the menthols.
If anyone in our friend group had a peanut allergy, we would leave them to die.
That's right. we would hold them down and force feed them.
We
peanuts
would just abandon
just to see what happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
that is true.
so
God damn
just
it.
so you know,
that is so true.
And we would go to the peak of his house with an umbrella and jump off to see if we floated down.
We used trash bags.
Yeah, no, we used umbrellas.
I never did this, but how did that go?
Well, they
Probably
were
about you the way you thought.
I would say there were broken limbs.
Yeah.
You know, that happened.
We're all puffing right now.
Still spicy. The leather is very strong now.
Very.
Yeah. Also the tobacco. Well, someone had to say it. You were just sitting there.
Wait. In rehab?
Yes, in rehab. And I was waiting for my moment.
When I wake up close to noon tomorrow,
On this patio.
I'm 100%. Janelle's going to be so pissed.
Brent and I have known each other for a while. Larry and Brent have known each other for a while. But Larry and Micah haven't known each other for a while.
You know one version of me. Larry knows another version of me.
That is so true.
Micah, put your shirt back on.
You know what?
Like, seriously, I looked at my glasses now while you were saying that, and I was like, oh, it's empty. And have you guys ever seen the movie called Brian's Song?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Why do you got to bring the party down?
Well,
Because that's how sad I was. I was like,
Let's start humming the theme to Brian's song.
God damn it. I'm so sad.
That'll be. I'll work that music in. That's when we know. That's when we know when the drinks are gone.
Like wartime
What
stuff.
if the germs had tanks
But it's
and
great.
warlike
But
shit?
then, so Turtle Dove, what I like about
Little
him is
bitty
he-
tanks.
Yeah, little baby tanks.
It'd be amazing. You never
No,
see
you
them.
just go like that all the time.
Oh no, germ tanks! Everybody run!
We took out an entire division of tanks today. What'd you do?
You can stomp all you
Just
like.
stomped
you,
on 'em.
You think you're stomping in the right place, but they're over there.
They have a demon baby. And,
Yeah.
they have
When
to
you're
be-
6 years old, it's horrifying. When you're a middle-aged man, it's a comedy. Based on the number that I saw, I'm convinced that it was completely friends and family. But if you're not a friend or a family of any
it was
three
just
of us,
Micah clicking refresh over and over.
While I still love the platinum, I have to say that the white is my favorite.
the White Series.
But when I went back to buy a box of whites and saw that price, I did that Homer Simpson back up through the bush thing as I entered the store.
No.
So I was like, maybe
Marge,
maybe
someone
for another
took the
day.
life savings.
Peruvian. Interesting. I don't think I've had a lot of Peruvian.
They're, well, not in cigars anyway, right, Brent?
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Snort.
I remember the 80s. Oh, I'm getting like malt for sure. This is going to sound weird, but I'm getting some sort of a meaty flavor, almost like kielbasa or some kind of a smoked sausage.
what about whiskey? Are you getting any?
Oh, we're not going
What's
to.
a
We're
whiskey?
not
Are we
going to
gonna do
beat
that
that dead. Are you getting any whiskey taste on the whiskey? But
Well,
I
first of
think.
all, we have to admit that we've done something wrong, which I don't think.
Well, you're not good at that at
I'm not good
all.
at
We
that
kind of
at
have
all.
to expect
I
it. mean, it's
actually
the internet.
have to. I have three
Right.
children, and I often have had in the past to admit my ignorance and or my wrongness. So I've got a lot of practice. And also, the great thing about being a middle-aged man is I am now blessedly free of pride and dignity. So
Amen to that.
yeah, it is a liberating experience. You said sit at your feet and then you patted your knee. That's a
Well,
little disturbing.
they can't see what we're actually doing.
That's a little disturbing. Put your shirt back on, Brent. That's not cool. But explain what it is.
Well, TK Talkie is a. It started off as just a Stormtrooper only sound effect. So when you talk, it adds all the the pops and clicks. Like if you listen to the news every time they talk, you hear the microphone click off or click on or whatever. So it automatically adds those for you when you talk. You know,
I have
all
a
kinds of
business
stuff.
opportunity for you. Could you make one of these where when the stormtrooper opened their mouth, they sounded like an old Jewish mother?
Um,
Can
I
and should.
can't
Two
understand
totally
what
different
you're
things.
saying right now. The thing in my head is very not clear. Is there a volume button? Is Tommy up there? Tommy, it's your mother. Are you coming home for dinner? Like, I just think if you meant, like,
you have to say TK421. Why aren't you at your post? It's
yeah,
an old
TK421, where the hell are you? Listen, no monster soup for you this week if I don't find you at your post when I look out this window again, young man.
I'm just running into celebrities. This is why you can't allow the orange shirts in the green room. I ran into Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh my god!
You're like,
Oh my God.
you're like a pinball.
Oh my god!
Ping, ping, ping.
Like a little chihuahua just bouncing around. Oh my god! Oh my god! So
Yo
anyway,
quiero Giancarlo.
I was thinking about that cartoon character from Warner Brothers. Hey, Spike, are we gonna find us? Are we gonna find us some celebrity today?
yeah.
Oh my God, sure we are. You know all the celebrities, don't you, Spike?
I also am heavily into electronics, and so I've got droids in there that I'm built gonk droids. I'm working on an R5 unit in there.
How's your homemade pacemaker working out for you?
Yeah, it's working great.
He's
So-
not gonna have to pay
so
10 grand
I
for
love
it.
going. I
or
love
the installation.
yeah right.
Honey, stand here with these paddles. If you see the whites of my eyes, pop me once, but
So-
just once.
Okay, maybe twice.
So yeah, I mean, and I win as a mashup. I loved Wash and I loved Jane, right? I loved them equally. So I made a costume called Wayne. And I have my Hawaiian shirt. I have my Hawaiian shirt, and I had my my khaki pants, my gaiters, my boots. I had my little side holster, but in my holster, I had the dinosaurs.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. And when I went through, I had them do, whenever you go to cons, I mean, I don't know if they allow weapons in cons anymore, or replicas, whatever, but at the time they were, but you had to go through the security desk and they did a little, tied a security ribbon on your gun.
Usually you have to have the ribbon or some sort of an orange plug. That
so I went
indicates
to the
that it's a
security
toy.
desk and had them tie little ribbons on the dinosaurs and then put them in my pocket. But the best part was we did a picture with Nathan and Alan. And so when I walked in, Alan took one look at me and he goes, outstanding. And I just felt so validated.
Yes! And he was part of this special team, and they would go investigate, paranormal and otherworldly stuff. And then he would have to turn into Ultraman, who was the size of the kaiju or the monsters that he had to fight. But he only had 3 minutes.
Yeah.
After 3 minutes, the little light on his chest would start to flash, and now he's running out of energy. And I just thought, and as a kid, I was just enthralled with that. And then I very recently, as a middle-aged man, had the chance to watch some of those original episodes. And I can't believe, the budget was literally $10 and some baling wire and a prayer. The monsters that are scary to you as a child are absolutely comical to you as a grown man, because some of these kaiju, first of all, most of them
you
seem
can see the seams in the arms.
Yeah, you can see that. The paper mache eyes don't line up like one. Like every kaiju in every episode of Ultraman has a lazy eye. It's just a feature that they have. And I said, in all seriousness, what's a con? I had no idea, and they're very nice.
Not tricking people.
They're decent people. They are.
Kind of is.
I figured maybe one day I would just bring a bunch of Swisher Sweets and then take the wrappers off. And
I will punch you in the throat.
Well, tell me when you're going to do that, because I'm
drown
going to bring
you
you Strawberry
in that
Hill
pool.
when you do that.
Why Strawberry Hill? I mean, why not Night Train or Mad Dog?
I was going to say, yeah, I'll bring some Mad Dog.
Because everybody knows Boone's Farm, Strawberry Hill. I mean, come on.
Is it still $1.99?
Oh,
is it still in existence?
Yes.
So,
Is it really?
It is. It
Boone's
is.
Apple Farm.
Oh,
I have a story about that for another time.
Yeah, me too.
So my uncle
Hashtag college.
and truly understand what my fandom was, and I appreciate you guys for that.
And we appreciate you.
Well, that's very sweet. Please put your shirt back on.
Now, two of us are topless.
Oh, God. I'd just like to get through one episode where at least one of us isn't topless.
You know what? Next time, we promise that I will keep my shirt on, Brett will keep his shirt on, but yours has to come off.
My shirt is not coming off, but my pants might. I don't make no promises. We're getting on to springtime in Texas, which means tonight it's very pleasant, and next time it could be 110 degrees at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm either wearing a cotton kilt or nothing at all south of the border. And so it was a book that I read while I was working on the set of Wishbone when we had a whole lot of downtime. And you're right, it's a history lesson because it flips between the World War II era and what was then present day.
Wishbone?
No, believe it or not, it wasn't. It was not considered classic literature at the time.
Well, they did Back to the
90s.
Future. Why didn't they do
Wishbone and Fatigues.
We didn't do Back to the
Crawling
Future.
Did you
We
not?
did The Time Machine by H.G. Wells.
That's right.
Which was not
The
directed
title of
by
the-
Robert Zemeckis, by the way.
The title of it was actually a spin
Bark
on
to the Future.
Yes.
Yes. Wow, I love that
My
you
turn.
knew that, but then you just thought we did a Back to the Future riff.
Well, I
on a
didn't take
show
time to
about
actually
a dog
watch
who
the
introduces
episode.
kids to classic literature. Thank you so much. I'm gonna give you mine. Hang on.
I'm gonna tell you a little
sorry.
story.
I will one day ask a favor of you.
I was waiting for the Godfather. That day may never come.
Your choices of outro music are just on point every single time, and I love
It takes a lot for me not to fast forward ahead of time just to go see what it was, because I kind of want the build up.
Never mind the damn episode.
Yeah, so I don't even listen to the episode. I just
What
want to
did
see
he
what the
do?
outro music is.
Mike and I are in there, and I said to Brent, I said to Micah, hey, maybe we should go help Brent set up. And Micah went, that's a terrible idea. Let Rain Man do his thing.
And if I still can't get a draw at it, then I'm kind of needing it, and I'm like, come on,
Come
baby,
on, baby,
come
come
on.
You just
on.
take a razor and slice it open.
That's true. Then I take it, I
It's called
slice
a
it.
convertible cigar,
That's right.
guys.
I slice it all the way
It's a
down the
drop
middle
top.
like a hot dog bun, and I rip it open, and then I just use my torch to
And I
go
put a
all
little
the way
relish
top
in
to
there.
bottom.
When I was a kid, and I mean a little kid, one of my first introductions to science fiction was a Japanese-produced live-action television show called Ultraman.
Oh, Uturo.
And it's funny that I've brought Ultraman up before, and every time I do, he has to do that.
He does that
I have
sound
to.
every time.
single time. So
I just love it. I love the way it sounds. Like
the
bad production
acting-
value.
Well, you talked about the paper
Doctor
mache
Who.
eyes on the kaiju. How
Oh my God,
It was
it's
that
so
lazy eye
bad.
stuff, yeah.
Like you can see the zipper on the back of
Yeah, I
the
was going to ask,
kaiju.
is it so bad that it's like Doctor Who season 1? And I'm not talking about what is season 9, but actual season 1.
It's bad.
yeah,
It's
like
where-
the
really
sleeves,
bad.
like
Where
the
you see
black
the
and white.
pyramids
Yeah.
on the curtain waving.
Yes.
I forgot how utterly fantastically bad the opening theme song is from
Oh,
Space
yeah.
Odyssey. I mean, it reminds me of Hooked on Classics. Do you remember that?
Oh,
That
yeah.
old-
Yeah.
Okay. So it starts off with this classical dun dun, and then it goes, and then it has the violin going the doo-doo-doo as the spaceship falls.
Yes.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It
Yeah.
goes wow, chicka waka. Oh my god, it is
Oh,
so
it's that
great.
kind of show.
Oh my gosh, it is so amazing.
Because there's a
Um,
character inside the movie that did not survive
Yeah.
because they took that route. So, and it was touching.
Yeah, that's
To a
very
geek.
Cool. To a geek.
Yeah.
To
Okay,
a nerd.
so before we move too
absolutely.
far
This
off,
make believe person died. I'm so sad.
hey, I'm like that.
Oh, I'm starting.
Sure, why not?
You're just staring at me. Both of you are staring at me.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy. Stop it.
Go put your shirt back on.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Sake.
That's one.
If you're gonna tee it up like that.
That's one.
You know, I am getting hints of tobacco, which are pretty good.
That's
Stop.
one.
Oh, come on. We're never going to make it through any show without the shirt or the tobacco.
No,
Never.
I think we've established that.
Spit it out, you son of a bitch. Spit it out.
A gnat just flew into Micah's. I don't know if he's going to eat it or just
I'm
be
debating.
done. And even as a young person, they were so
Oh,
awful.
the 1970s Spider-Man.
Yes, where he
Oh.
scrabbles up a wall.
Yeah. And his web is like just a big thick
It
cotton
was a rope. It
And
was a giant rope.
every time he shot the web, it was in reverse. It was just a shot
Yes.
in reverse. It was so bad.
He either comes crashing through a door, through a window, or through a wall and says, punk, we ain't done. And he comes in and he starts pummeling this guy, and he pummels them until they are ready for jail. Where they're like, please take me to jail because I can't stand the way you
Because
punch.
I'm a bad guy and I must pay for my crimes.
Oh,
So,
no. I just don't, I don't want to feel Cap's fist in my nuts anymore.
It's funny, kind of like, again, your perception of something when you're a kid, and the song comes on, it's got a great beat, you're singing along with the lyrics. Lyrics don't really register with you. Then as an adult, June bugs. Then as an adult, you listen to those songs, you go,
Yeah, no,
Oh.
swat him over to me by all means,
yeah,
please.
you're like, oh, well, that song's all about sex. Oh, well, that song's all about drugs. Oh, look, this song's about sex too. Like all your favorite songs from
This
when
is
you were a
about
kid.
sex and
This
drugs.
is about sex and drugs.
Whether it's Shakespeare or whether it's Moliere or whether it's
Mark Twain.
Conan Doyle or whoever it is, we're going to stay true to the source material. And if kids have questions after seeing an episode about what happened or why they were talking like that, that's a good thing.
Moliere really pumps my nads.
That's funny. We had that on a t-shirt that I loved about those movies.
I expected when I got my first fight, I was very disappointed that it didn't sound the way those kung fu movies did.
Yeah.
I've never walked out of a Marvel movie and gone, well, if they take a little while between that and the next one, that's okay with me.
Well, I kind of felt like that about Thor Dark World, but, I warmed up to it.
I felt that way about that new King Kong Godzilla movie.
Oh man.
I was like,
You
if
know
you guys want to wait 10 years until you get a good story, okay.
and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
This has been a production of Nerdherfers, copyright 2024, all rights reserved. No portion, and I do mean no portion of this broadcast may be used without permission. Please visit nerdherfers.com for more information and full legal disclaimer, you nerd.